If you actually look at ancient maps in 1736 and ancient maps in 1747 of Africa, you'll find a country called Negro Land and the Kingdom of Judah. This is of utmost importance for us to understand how Yahweh is gathering the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. Because what actually happened is in this Gulf of Guinea in Western Africa, European slave ship holders, they were Ashkenazi slavers. They were of European origin. They were Western Mongols that had infiltrated Britain and mainly Portugal. They were the Ashkenazi slavers. They were wealthy merchant slavers that went down to the coast of Guinea. They employed Mohammedan trappers, Islamics, to go into the Kingdom of Judah and Negro Land and take the royal house of Judah captive in slave ships, as it's recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, and bring them over to America, and they became known today as what? African Americans.
Africans in collusion with the Ashkenazi, because they were selling the Negro house of Judah to the Greeks. And who did the Greeks? The Greeks, they invented democracy, didn't they? Didn't they just? You see, Africans weren't selling their own people. They were selling a tribe that had encroached upon their land, a higher educated, regal class that had judges, coppersmiths, goldsmiths, and all of this, and they did not assimilate in, and they wanted their stuff, and they wanted to get paid by Islam, and Islam wanted to get paid by the Ashkenazi ship merchants. Oh, tribe of Africa, they're Jewish. If you were to look, just look at old maps of the African slaving maps. There's an old map of, I think it's Guinea in maybe in the 1720s, 1730s. There's this old map, and it's called a slave coast map. Look on that. It's the slave coast map of Guinea, 1736. And you look on the West Africa map of 1747, and it says right on the West Africa map of 1747, Kingdom of Judah. Right there on the map.
With racially oriented. I'm going to say that again. This has nothing to do with being racially oriented. This is biblical.
Amen.
I'm going to repeat that. This is biblical.
Amen.
These are biblical people. If they weren't, why are they in the Bible? If God didn't want you to see this, then why did he write it? He did it because it has to do with his story. I'm saying,
most people haven't even read that verse, and it's not even on their conscience when they claim or when they perceive that the Bible is talking about them. Every time, at least in the New Testament, every time it talks about Israelites and their salvation and being brought back to the land, and also, heads up, all those Old Testament books and prophecies and prophets, most of those things haven't happened yet, and you won't even realize that unless you realize who Israelites really are. And hopefully you can get some knowledge and understanding from them, because who knows them better than themselves? And who can understand the Bible better than them? No one. Because for one, who was the Bible written by? Them. Who was it written for? Them. The Bible doesn't belong to all of us. It belongs to them. And who are they? They're the black people. Yet. But most people haven't even read that verse, and it's not even on their conscience. When
white people came to Africa, they came showing themselves as superior to the black people, digging out things that black people taught them. You know, what we don't have in our history books is that the civilization we have in Europe today was brought to us by black people. Even black people don't know that Even many black people don't know that. They don't know that the Moors, they were West Africans and North Africans and Central Africans that came to Europe and ruled Spain. They brought civilization to us. They showed us how to use soap, how to be clean, how to behave like a decent human being, you know. All these things we didn't know that before the Moors brought civilization to Spain. Did you know that the Moors ruled in Spain for 700 years? Where is that in our history books? It's nowhere to be found. Because why? If you are giving black people that power of having once ruled over white people, wouldn't black people start like kind of questioning, oh, we were once at that point of having such a power in a white man's country over white people, and where are we now? So of course they have to hide that history from you people, because knowing your true history is knowing your true power, and knowing your true power means you will break out from that system of racism as much as you can, because you can't. If white people will not stop racism, black people cannot stop being victims of racism. Okay, that sounds like I'm victimizing a black person, which I don't. The fact is, okay, I've said that before, I've used that example before, but I think it's just the perfect, it sums everything up. Okay, when you see a child that was sexually molested, or it mustn't even be a sexual molestation, if it was molested, would you walk up to that child and tell the child to stop whining about their molestation, stop crying about what happened to them and move on, because after all it was 5 years ago, your molester, is he not in prison? Can't you stop pulling the molester card and blah blah blah? Nobody would do that. No person that has senses would tell a child that was abused or molested to move on, or to even go out and fight against what happened to them. No, you will not do that. What you will do is you expect authorities to step up for that child and get justice on that child's behavior. But when it comes to racism, we be all in our feelings like, oh, but I'm not racist. I never owned slaves. My neighbor's cousin is black. I can't be racist. But it is not like that. I've seen white women raising black children, having black husbands, you know, and they are still racist. So you mingling with all the black people in the world is not going to make you less racist. That is just the point. That's because in the society we were not.
So this is 15th century manuscript. Sometimes, you know, it's amazing that, you know, people in the 15th century, were they, you know, aware of color? All the saints, even the Virgin, is painted black. You know. Today, even today, you don't find such paintings in churches. In always, you know, a bright color, not black color. So it has to be studied very well. You know, this type of documents. Look, even the evangelist. This is Matthew. You know.